Hi everyone, this is Bidut Bikas Sandik, founder of Professional Chess Training Center and an online chess coach. Today I am going to show you one interesting game between two legendary genius players, Magnus Carlsen and Levon Iranian. As you all know that Magnus is a 5-time world chess champion. He is also the reigning 4-time world rapid chess champion, the reigning 6-time world blitz chess champion, and the reigning chess World Cup champion. On the other hand, Levon Iranian won the FIDE World Cup in 2005 and 2017. He is also a Super Grandmaster from Armenia. In this game, Magnus is playing with white pieces and he started the game with the move d4. d4 started by Magnus and d5 by Levon Iranian, c4, c6, knight f3, knight f6. Magnus played knight c3, e6. Now e3, knight bd7, and bishop d3. Magnus can also try with queen c2 here, and queen c2, bishop d6, bishop d3. This is a semi-slave normal stuff, but he chooses bishop d3 instead of queen c2 here. Now Levon played d into c4, and Carlsen take the pawn with bishop c4, and now Levon played b5, and this is a semi-slave defense of Miriam variation. Here Magnus played bishop d3 and bishop b7 by Levon. It is nothing new. It is a chess opening. Here Magnus could play castle followed by e6, e4 is a normal stuff, but Magnus chooses the line a3 here in this position. a3 is chosen by Magnus Carlsen, and here Levon played b4. Levon decision is not so great here, as it breaks a important chess rule, that is, don't break through before the development. But what to do? Levon played b4, and here Magnus played knight e4. Magnus can also try put a into b4 followed by bishop into b4, but he did not like this variation because the black bishop comes up to the b4 square to pin the knight. So knight e4 was chosen by Magnus Carlsen, and here Levon played knight into e4, because we should exchange one of our minor pieces in the middle game when we play with black pieces, because black has limited space. This exchange definitely favors black for piece maneuvering. That is why Levon chose the knight into e4 move. Now bishop into e4 played by Magnus Carlsen, and white has no choice. And now b into a3 played by Levon Iranian. I think a5 here is much better than what he played in the game, because in this position this is important to maintain the space in the queen side, because space is also a necessary factor in space. b into a3 is allowing some kind of space in the queen side for white. Here Carlsen played castle instead of normal looking b into a3, because Carlsen concentrates in completing his development by sacrificing the a pawn here. This sacrifice reminds me the classical players like Morphy, Mikhail Tal, who also played such kind of sacrificial moves in the opening for completing their development. So castle was played by Magnus Carlsen, and here knight f6 played by Levon, followed by bishop d3 to defend the bishop, and a into b2 played by Levon Iranian. This is a practical decision. Black takes chance. If black would have played normal looking bishop into e7 instead of a into b2 to complete the development, then white may play a into b3, b into a3, castle, rook b1 to attack the bishop. Queen c7, defending the bishop. Queen c2, pressuring on the h7 and c6. c5, e4, rook f8 to defend the queen. e5 is a move. Knight d5, and bishop into h7, king h8, bishop e4, c into d4, queen d3, and now d4. And you see the d4 pawn is now become weak, and black has no any compensation in real sense. So a practical decision was taken by Levon. He played a into b2 here, and after a into b2, Magnus played bishop into b2, and now Levon played a5, which is computer's first choice. If he tried with bishop d6 instead of a5, then e4 is there. So it will be very annoying for black because e5 is coming. And if he tried bishop e7, the normal looking move, developing move, then Magnus can try queen b1. It's a very interesting move. It's a very creative move to create pressure on the h7 and b7 bishop. So if he castle, then e4 is the move to harass the knight on f6, who is the defender of h7, and a6 and d5 is a move, which is a very interesting move. And after that, if queen c8, then d6 is a move to destroy the position of black. If black tried bishop into d6 here, then e5 is the move, a fork. And if it tried bishop d8, then knight e5 is very, very annoying for black pieces. So Levon chooses the correct move, a5, to gain space. And I just want to ask you a question. In this position, what will you play? You take a couple of seconds, pause the video and think, what will you play in this position for white? Okay, let us start the game, continue the game. Here, Magnus took a very important decision to play the move d5. It is the move of Bilbao Grand Slam final. This is the very critical moment for white piece. You see, it's a real pawn sacrifice to gain activity. We should open up the position when opponent's king is in the center. This is the idea, the rule of chess. Masters do not play extraordinary moves all the time, but masters use the basic chess rules in most creative and effective ways. So this is the secret of strong players. He may play normal looking move like queen a4 instead of d5 sacrifice to create pressure on the c6 to continue the game with slightly better position. But Magnus won more out of a position, and that is what Carlsen did here. If he played queen a4, then knight d5 may be the move, then knight e5, then knight b4, then bishop e4, with a slightly plus position for white. But he chose the most creative move, is the most interesting and very beautiful move, and this is the move of the Bilbao Grand Slam Open. So after d5, Levon took with the knight. It seems to be only safer for the option for black. If he took it by queen into d5, this violates the principle of not playing the queen in the center so early phase of the game. And here Magnus may play queen e2 and bishop b4, then knight e5, then castle may be there, rook ft1, and black's queen is not in the great position. And if he played c into d5 instead of queen to d5, then bishop b5 check is there, because the diagonal is open now, because this move opened the diagonal. So knight d7 is the only option. Then knight e5, pressuring on the d7 square. Bishop c8. This move losing activity because rook c1 is there also coming, with the idea of rook into c8 followed by bishop into d7, will crushing for black. And if he play into d5, which looks better than c into d5, here knight d4 is coming because the f5 is exposed. Bishop b4, queen f3, castle, knight f5, pressuring on g7 and a6. It's a very difficult position for black in the presence of white's bishop pair, looking at black's king in hungry mode. So Levon took the correct decision to play knight into d5 here. It seems to be the most safest option for black. Knight into d5. Here Magnus played knight e5, eyeing at c5 square, c6, and also vacating the d1 h5 diagonal, eyeing at c6 and also vacating the diagonal for the queen. So the if you play bishop b4, normal looking move, here white will play queen z4, castle, and then knight into c6. It's very annoying for black because g7 is under attack, queen is under attack. So to guard the z4, black tried knight f6 here to guard the z4. Knight f6, then queen a4 is played. Queen a4 tried by Magnus Carlsen. You see, the great players has a strong sense in which side the piece should be played. As soon as black played knight f6 to neutralize the g4 h5 square, Carlsen decided to bring his mighty queen to the other side of the board, where his opponent's weaknesses were inviting him. So after queen a4, black played bishop b4. And if Levon tried queen b6 instead of bishop b4, then knight c4 may be there. After knight c4, queen c7, bishop e5, queen d8, rook f d1, what is better here? So if he tried bishop d6, then knight into c6, queen d7, then bishop b5, castle, then rook f d1. Is also not a very great position for black here. If black tried knight d5 here, then white has e4 to kick out the knight from the center. So Levon played bishop b4, which looks sensible in this position. And here Magnus took the pawn, knight into c6 to grab the material, inviting black to give up the bishop pair. Now bishop c6 was played by black, and if he tries queen d7 instead of bishop into c6, it fails to bishop b5, bishop a6, then bishop into a6, rook into a6, then knight into b4, then queen into a4, rook into a4, rook b6. You see, rook into a5, rook into b4, bishop into f6, z into f6, rook a8, and white is winning here. So in this position, bishop into c6 played by black, then queen into c6, check. And now you see, if queen d7 is played, then queen into 8 loses immediately. And if knight d7, then rook a d1, rook a7, then bishop b5, and white is winning. And if let king f8, then rook f d1 is plus for white. So king e7 tried by black, and now rook f d1, the least active piece, comes into the middle of the board, pressuring on the black's underdeveloped queen. So rook c8 was tried by Levon Iranian, and here queen f3 played by Magnus to keep the pressure. Some beginners like to play shake here by playing queen b7, but after queen c7, black equalizes instantly. Suddenly one pointless shake give up the momentum, and blacks come back in the game with a very good smile. So queen f3 is a very smart choice by Magnus Carlsen. And here queen b6 played by Lebanonian to connect the rooks. Now bishop d4, white bring all the minor pieces into the center with a very tempo. And queen b8 played by Levon, then bishop a6. This is a move. We should know that while attack, we should not give up time to organize our opponent's pieces, because defense is nothing but behind in tempos. If the attacker loses tempo, then defender comes back at any time. So we should not give time to our opponent while we attack. So after that, rook c d8, and Magnus took a very important decision here and played bishop b7. This is a very multi-purpose move. It is a brilliancy from the hero Magnus Carlsen. The idea behind this move is the cornered bishop comes to the center. The bishop comes to the center. The first thing first, and the second is it limits black's queen activity in the b file. It limits queen activity in the b file. And third is the bishop is preparing bishop c6 if black plays rook h e8 to move his king to the corner of the board in the king side. So black cannot play rook h e8 because of bishop c6 is there. So Lemon played h5 here. So decided to play the rook through the h file. He also preparing knight g4 to attack on the h to checkmate. So h3 was played by Magnus. This is purely a prophylactic move. Now h4, creating space and preventing white's g3. And now Magnus played rook a b1. This is something like what a move. Can you tell me why this rook comes to the close file? The thing is, the bishop on b4 is the only real defender of black's weaknesses on the dark square, where the black king is sitting with a feeling of great safety. So removing this defender is a necessary choice. A positional sacrifice is waiting and ticking in white's mind. Here Levon played e5, and if believe me or not, this attack looking move is just a defensive purpose only. It clears the path or room for the king to escape to the e6 square. And the bad news for black is he cannot avoid the positional sacrifice rook into bishop, because if he played bishop d6, then e4 is coming. Knight d7, bishop c6 is coming. Queen c7, bishop into d7, rook into d7, the rook bc1, queen b8, bishop into g7. This is not a good position for black. He may try bishop e5, but rook into d7 is there, king into d7, queen f7, black's position is collapsed. So he played e5 move, and here it's something like boom, eliminating the defender of black's weaknesses, thus getting a strategical winning position for white after this. And a into b4 played by Levon. Black could try better here by playing into d4. That leads to rook b d4. Still white has a dominating position. But Levon chooses a into b4, and now bishop c5. It is very irritating now for black in absence of his dark color bishop. This bishop starts harassing black's king in the middle of the board with his pair of the bishop. And king e6 looks like only move in this position, because king e8 fails to bishop c6, knight d7, then queen f5 is not a good for black. So he played king e6. It seems like black king is breathing in the e6 square, which looks safe enough, at least for few moves. But Magnus is not going to give rest to his opponent. Magnus has another way in his mind. He is going to use the 6th rank where the black's king is situated, and he played rook a1, intending to play rook a6 to harass the king. King d7, queen c6 checkmate is there. So rook d6 is the only move to defend the king. And here bishop into d6. Now Magnus took back his material with advantageous position. King into d6, because queen d6 failed to the move rook a6. The queen is gone, tata bye bye. So here king into d6 is the only option, and here now queen c6. This is the point why Magnus played bishop b7 to defend, to guard the c6 square. This is also a point. Here king e7 looks like only move. Then rook a. Then Magnus took the advantage against black's tactical weakness. The rook on h8 is gone now. So queen d6 played by black. Now queen to d6, king into d6, then rook into h8, winning a huge material for white. However, Iranian did not resign here. He goes for his last try in terms of the pass pawn in the b5. So he tried his luck by b3. Bishop a6 is there. In order to hold the pass pawn by bishop d3, next move. Also can rook b8 is a playable option. So Levon defending the b8 square for by the knight, and rook into h4. Rook has another way to come in. Knight c5, attacking the bishop. But Levon resigned after this move because bishop c4 is there, b2, a2. The black's all dream ended here. So this is all about my commentary on this game between the legendary players, between Magnus Carlsen and Levon Iranian, where Magnus showed his class in strategic and tactical ability. I hope you enjoyed the game. If you like it, then do press the like button, and also you may subscribe my channel. Lots of games are coming. Until next, take care. Bye bye.